Rob, is that a sign of how far you've come in Europe, winning those tight games away from home?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I mean, I actually just said that to the lads. I said, over the years we've lost in some pretty strange circumstances in the Heineken Cup, and we've probably come out on the bad side of a game like today more often than not, really. So to be sitting here now and collecting 14 points from 3 rounds, it feels very, very good, especially with Glasgow going away to La Rochelle and winning yesterday. That potentially put a little bit of interesting pressure on us coming here today. But we've very much kept things in our own hands. And as I said, sometimes you wonder if it's the tough moments you've been through in the past that will create something like happened today, where it feels like you're clinging on a little bit. But ultimately you come through it. And I'd like to think that just shows some of the qualities of some of those tough campaigns the lads have been through before.
How's Stuart? He went off after a couple of spectacular moments.
Yeah, it's failed HIA. He says he's already feeling better than he did when he came off the field, which is obviously a positive sign. But as yet, we can't make any assessment on where he'll be tomorrow or the next couple of days. So we'll start the process when we can. Hopefully he'll be fit for next week. Sometimes they clear very quickly, sometimes they don't. We'll just have to be very careful with it and see how he ends up. But it's a bit of a shame when a guy's showing that much form, because he really was electric for that first quarter. But it's one of those things. The lads have dealt with it. We've got Hollywood done up and running now, which is going to be very important for us moving forward. And I just kind of think we showed some real good qualities today, but unfortunately they weren't the qualities of outstanding rugby. They were the qualities of standing and fighting, which sometimes is as important as anything else.
Is that sort of early 10-15 minute spell when Stuart Hogg was at the forefront of a lot of the good attacking play that you were doing, is that what you brought him to Exeter for? He said to be a little bit more perhaps solid and diligent and doing the basics in his early matches here?
Yeah, that's it, really. I mean, there's always going to be a time of season, and this is the decision we had to make on whether we wanted to bring in a forward or a back potentially. There's a period of the season where you have to win games in pretty poor conditions, and in that circumstance you need your players to be able to do the basics very, very well. And obviously for a fullback that is catching, kicking, defending, talking, organising the back three. The Shoot's very good at that. So we were very comfortable that we were slotting someone in the correct way, someone who would be useful for us and be good for us in the conditions we're dealing with now. But actually when the conditions dry up, as you saw like today, that it was okay for playing, he can add something.
You see the difference potentially between getting out your pool and making deeper inroads into this competition and not?
Yes, I would like to think he would be. I think he's part of it, but I think you need to remember that good players influence other players as well.
Yeah.
So it's not only what he's bringing individually, but it's the influence he has on other people. And that, like I said, that element of talk and experience is very important as well. That kind of seeing things. Hoggy will say himself, he's covering a lot of metres with us, probably more than he's done in the past. But we tend to have high ball in play time, which means the fullback is moving a lot, anticipating where it's going to be, where the next kick might come from. And he's actually, I think he's actually developing as a player. I don't think he's someone we've got here. We want to just try and cling on to him in the model he is. I think he wants to push on and keep developing, and we want him to push on and like I say, see as much of the ball as we can.
Where do you think he's developing, though? Just out of interest, what areas of his game do you think?
I think all areas. I think all the areas of the game is. I think I'm seeing improvement in most areas. I think today, in a lot of ways, was his best attacking game. And to drop into that and do it in a Heineken Cup game kind of shows you that there's still there. He actually genuinely found space today, and looked capable of breaking a team open almost. And it wasn't like we were putting him into space so much today, which is good. So I think that kind of physicality is developing a little bit. Like I say, I think his movement around the backfield is fantastic for us, and I think his kicking will still improve. We do a lot of kicking with our outside backs. And I think that's an area, although it's very good, we'll continue to improve from.
Yeah. I just caught the tail end of your BT interview there. I was interested by something you said in terms of the players waiting for the Champions Cup to start. Why do you think that was the case? Is it would it have been a World Cup year? Is there a bit of a less focus on domestic?
Listen, every one of you in this room who's interviewed me before, every single one of you said, is it going to be all year in the Heineken Cup?
Yeah.
Is it going to be all year in the Heineken Cup? When's it going to be extra time to come out, get out of their pool? And the players hear that as well. The players get asked those questions. So in pre-season, we did reviews with all of them, and an awful lot of them said their real goal this season was to go further in Europe. Now, you could see, if you set it as your goal and you see it just a couple of weeks away, which is what happened at the start of the season, you do start looking forward to it and you do start waiting for it. And I think that's very much what happened a little bit. We got through the first round of the Premiership Cup, Premiership playing okay, but we never really took off. And we've kind of I mean, I can say things from a coach perspective as much as possible, just trying to keep everyone moving forward. But sometimes a group of players look at something, they talk about themselves, and they almost talk themselves into what's going to happen. And we kind of talked ourselves into an okay performance against Bristol, which ended up not being good enough, but a very good performance just a week later against La Rochelle. And that was a purely mental approach to everything we were doing.